My biggest learning ever while traveling solo in Africa as a woman was, and it has really changed my life. Now I live in Kenya and it's awesome. Wow, can you see this? You have no idea how many times I have heard the question of, Sinja, can you help me? Is Kenya safe? And especially as a woman. And for the ones who don't know me, my name is Sinja and I've been traveling in Kenya for the last 6 years. And to be honest, there was never a single situation where I have not felt safe. But I hear you and I understand you, that you have a lot of questions going through your mind, especially like, oh my God, what if in case of anything is going to happen? How is the current situation right now? And what do I wear? And how can I even walk around in Nairobi streets? And before I dive right now into my 5 biggest learnings on while traveling over the past 6 years by myself in Kenya, I want to inform you now that I have a free training for you. And it's going to be 45 minutes and it teaches you exactly how to become crime-proof in Kenya as a woman. Yes, how to avoid any robberies and any scams and all these kind of things so that you can be confident and become a travel boss lady. My biggest learning ever while traveling solo in Africa as a woman was, and it has really changed my life, was learning on how to say no. And learning and it's okay to say no. You know, like the first times you get asked like, okay, do you want to do this? Or can I have your phone number? And do you want to buy this? And you feel like you have to do this or you have to please someone. Or why should you? Or why should you have to give out your phone number if you don't want to? Why should you join someone else for a coffee if you don't want to? Why should you do things if you have other plans? And claiming that power of saying no and being you, I tell you, will open doors. Because now you can do what you feel like and you don't have to worry about what other people think. So claim this right, learn on how to say no. And after a few times, I tell you, it will feel so good. So my next advice to you on how you can travel safely in Kenya is that you have to be confident. And even if you're not, you have to pretend on how to be confident. So, which starts by how you walk, how you talk, and also how you dress. So what helped me most on how to be confident while traveling alone in Africa is by learning the local language, because people are coming, they want to greet you, they want to talk to you. And if you know at least a little bit of Swahili, it's going to help you a lot and boost your confidence. Also, the way you walk is very important because people can spot you from very far if you're new. The way you are dressed. Are you typically dressed as a traveler who just came from the airport, or do you look like locals? Do you look normal? So how you can figure that out is just by checking out what are other people wearing. Do I look that different? How am I carrying my phone? How am I carrying my bag? And all these kind of things. Be confident, be you. And another point is on how you can become more confident is by actually going and making a self-defense course. I mean, don't take me wrong, I'm not telling you that something is going to happen, but if you just have this power inside you and you feel like, yes, I can do it, then no one can and no one will stop you. And the last point in being on how to be more confident, I would say, is go and plan, do your research, start early. Really get into the material of like, yes, I'm going to travel, connect with people and just know more. And you will figure out as more as you know, as more confident you will feel like. So another thing I wasn't that comfortable about with, because I usually talk a lot and I still talk a lot and I blog a lot, is that you have to learn on how to be secretive. Like, which means don't tell anyone where you stay. Don't tell, or if you post on Instagram your hotel or whatever, don't put the name or the location, or actually the best, if you want to do this, then post like one day later or the time you have moved out of the hotel, so that people cannot like easily follow you. Or if someone meets in the streets or a driver, you don't have to tell him to take you directly inside the gate or inside somewhere if you feel something like, okay. When he asks you, you meet someone in a bar and he's asking you, oh, where do you stay? Just say, yeah, here, just here around the corner, or just in Nairobi in a hotel. But you don't have to give exact the right details and about your travel itineraries and make it super easy for anyone to follow you or just be there. Yes, this might be like for a person, if you're like me, you like sharing and talking about things and connecting with other people. Maybe not as easy at the beginning, but for your own safety, make sure you stay secretive about your own travel itineraries and hotel bookings and this kind of things. So my next biggest learning, hey, I had to learn in the hard way. And sometimes it's just easier if you don't try to save someone. So don't be a savior. Make sure you are safe first. Which means, let me just give you an example. When you travel, and in my case, I was in a bar and someone gets into a fight. The way I grew up, the way I'm used to in Europe or in Germany is like, you help the person who's getting into the fight, or you try to make sure that the fight is going to end, especially if a woman is involved. But you are traveling, you are giving yourself into a different culture. You don't know their traditions and their norms and how they are going to react. If you come as a stranger and then, especially here in Africa, as a white person in between, he can have a knife, he can do anything to you. So the way on people solve fights can be very different to the way you have learned on how fights are being solved in your surroundings, in your culture back at home. So if something happens like this, it doesn't have to be a fight. If anything is going on which you think, according to your traditions or according to your experience, is not going the way it's supposed to be, go and get someone who helps you. In Kenya or in Africa, for example, we have so many security people around. So just go and get someone, or even if it's a stranger, a friend, or someone who's sitting there. Ask him, is that normal, or do you think, can you do something? And then he should be the one to interact, to interfere. But you should stay out of any tricky situation and let others handle and solve this fight for you. Another advice is listen to your guts and act, which means yes, so many travelers are like, yeah, I knew there was something going wrong, or no, I knew this is not for me. Then react, do something. The moment you get to have this feeling of something is not happening, make an action. If you're going somewhere and you feel like, oh, somehow this street is very empty and somehow I'm the only one being here, turn around, take a taxi. If you're inside a cab or somewhere and you feel like this person is funny or a little bit looks at me weirdly, or there might be something in my drink, take action, get your phone, call an Uber, go home. Just make sure you are safe always. And if you listen to yourself and you trust yourself, then you will be safe. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. And of course, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe so that next videos is going to be for you and you will not miss it.